Good morning everybody, welcome to Stockradar, Stocks on the Move for another week. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Today's date is the 24th of August 2023. Okay, today we're going to talk about the wonderful weekly highs and how they can help us. So we'll go through a little bit about that today. A lot of what I do is based on that sort of service. But firstly, let's go to the top 10 trend intensity ratings and see how they're looking this week. As we still seem to be shying away from the highs at the moment. The Dow and our market, there's a little bit of pressure this week. A few stocks have come off, so we need to just review where we are, having seen that happen. So firstly off, we've got car sales, which is making new highs, as you can see there, new weekly highs. Coffee's broken up. We've got a couple of property stocks in there looking quite nice. There's a few other buildings, industrial material stocks in there. So there's a good smattering and cross section there, but there's some great stocks in there to make some good profits on at the moment. Okay, so let's get to the overseas markets first off, and having the Dow Jones, again, it is sitting up there waiting. It's come back a bit this week, of course, but really no real damage there. I mean, it's still on the upside there. There's some support is rather below it. The volume's been okay, momentum's okay, so it's still holding fast at the moment, as is the S&P and the Nasdaq. And so they have come back. All markets do that, they go up and they go down, and this has gone up quite a long way and it's now coming down a bit, and that is fine by us. A bit of selling's hit the market, which is okay. We are near the highs, as I said before, so we've got to respect that judgment there. Okay, Nasdaq is exactly the similar situation again. Good rally, huge rally, good volume, and it's now coming back. A bit of selling's hit the market, which is okay, and momentum is slow to touch. So that's fine, that's okay. Overseas, in the commodity markets, copper's still struggling with its downtrend, and it continues to go down. Gold, I think it had a bit of a rally last night, but it has been sort of weak-ish, but not really breaking down. It just seems to be quite stubbornly holding up here. So we're still sort of observing that one, waiting to see what we're going to do. I don't think we hold any gold stocks at the moment. But that's where gold is at the moment, still teasing us at these highs of 2,000. And Brent crude has had a little rally. It rallied into R1 here, as we can see, but it's now come back a little bit off this area. So this now becomes a fairly key area, having tested again. We saw some good volume pushing into that zone. Momentum's almost got back to neutral. So there's a potential for a turn here, but we need a little bit more evidence before we can really decide on that one there. Okay, so that's the overseas markets. Now we go to our market, the S&P ASX 200, which again, there it is. It almost looks like the Dow. We've got all these highs up here. Again, we've tried again and failed. We haven't failed, but we've certainly come back a bit. We've shied away. Momentum's pretty flat, as you would say. I mean, you can see the market here. I mean, really, for the last couple of years, it's been trading between 7,000 and 7,600, apart from this little blip down here, which was bought up pretty quickly. So this has sort of been the range. Again, we're in a sideways range. We have to wait there. This is really a 15 stock index, as we know. With all the other stocks, we really don't get affected by the ASX 200 too much. So that's what we're looking at there. If we just go to the trend intensity ratings, we can see now, the stock pick count is down 3 this week to 45. So we actually lost 3 stocks this week. And a couple of big ones in there. Telstra is one of them, and that's affected our conservative portfolio, which we can see in a second. It's lost 3 stocks this week. It's down to 5. So the interesting thing is here, we are at the highs in this market, near our highs in the Dow, near our highs in the ASX 200. Yet this is really saying to us here, we've got 5 out of 20 here. The other ones are all not full. 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 3 out of 5, and 3 out of 5. Now, to me, that's not a good sign, because normally these portfolios are full when the market's running hot. Now, I know the market's not running hot, but we're just being a bit careful, and we're just putting a bit of money into the cash balance at the moment, as we wait and see when we get some sort of resolution to what the market's doing, the stalemate that we're seeing at the moment. So that's the portfolio update. That's as of Monday, and that's how that looks there for the moment. So we're cautious at the moment, but there are some great stocks out there, so let's have a look at a few at the moment. Okay, so a couple of leaders to start off with. Goodman Group. The property sector was a funny one because it did kick off a while ago. We had some good rallies off the area from late last year. Some broke up and some failed. Now, Goodman actually managed to hold its stop, and has since gone through a very, very difficult sort of upward slanting level here, trading pattern here, and it's now broken higher again. So it took a bit of time for it to get its confidence back. Some of the stocks haven't fallen, but Goodman and Mirvac are the two that have moved off quite well, and this looks quite good. So R1's got to be a potential target eventually for this at up around $26. So that's looking quite good. We've got the switch back here, which we saw with volume and momentum kicking higher, and now we're just starting to see a bit of volume kicking on here at the moment, which is a good sign of momentum's turning positive. Trend intensity rating is plus 10 for Goodman Group. It's an old stock. Okay, BHP, just a quick look at BHP. Just for those who want to have a look at it, we've still got this big area here, this big buy push here, pushing the stock hard. Sellers resisting up here. It's holding up pretty well. We had the profit report this week. Dividend was cut. The market's holding up okay. We've got some fairly resilient support across here, just above $42, $43. So I'm sort of watching this area because we are at the highs here, and you sort of expect this seller to start pushing this down soon, but we're sort of getting to an interesting stage around here. We've got a bit of support coming through here. The moving average is pretty well flat, and this long-term uptrend here is still holding the price up. So it looks okay. If we go back here just to look at the volume, if I just blow this up a little bit, you can just see what the volume's doing at the moment. Not really telling us a lot. Bit of selling here, bit of middling here. So it's mixed, and this is neutral here. So we're not getting a lot on BHP. So again, no trend, no trade. Simple as that. We just wait patiently for that one. Trend intensity rating is -1 on that one. Okay, Ria Group. Fantastic performance recently. It broke up as well. The interesting thing about this is that stocks break up, and they look off, they look really good, they run off, volume picks up, and all of a sudden they start doing this. Now, this is what normal markets do. They go up and they correct. So we've got to be careful about worrying too much about this sort of thing because it always happens. They don't go one way all the time. This has been quite a strong move here, but a strong move there. It was corrected back, nothing too significant. It held our stop, and that's the barometer. That's the litmus test for us. If it holds its stop, we stay in it. We can't sort of read things into every little nuance, every little move. So in this instance here, there's a bit of volume here, a bit of selling here. So there's a good challenge here. Though the market did hold up, trend intensity remained positive. It remained off its stop, and then it took off again. So this sort of pattern is not an uncommon pattern. So just be aware of that. You've got to go through these periods sometimes a few weeks because we are weekly traders. Probably a couple of months there of sideways pattern there, but now the market's up again. Trend intensity rating is plus 10. Car sales and Ria Group have done very, very well, and Seek's an interesting one which I'll be reviewing in the newsletter next week because that hasn't pushed off like these two. Okay, so Ria Group, just be careful, as you say, when corrections come, corrections are a natural part of market performance. Okay, the other trend reversal we had here was just recently was Breville Group, which has been quite a good little performance really. It's had a good little break up. We've had a good move up here since June, quite strong. It's broken the resistance here. We've had some volume here. We've had some momentum pick up. It's above the average, which is now turning up, which is good. Trend intensity rating is plus 8. So this has got to be starting to move up into this area here, above $30, where the resistance is up there for R1. So Breville Group's another one that's looking quite good. So we are getting the breaks. They are coming along slowly but surely. We've got plenty of prospects in the trend reversal area there. There's quite a few interesting stocks there. Go to Stockradar. Some of the current ones we've got: Net Wealth, 7 Groups making a good move from trend. Boral, BlueScope, Magellan, James Hardie, and CSR. CIR. So they're all good trend reversals that we've got at the moment, which have been broken up and rallying. Okay, now we go to new highs. Again, I talked about Ria Group having corrected. Well, similar situation here. We've got NHF here, which has made a new high, a new weekly high, and this is a very, very significant high, this high. It goes back to 2019, and it's now broken above this. And the interesting thing is, again, here, this chart looks fantastic. To the left-hand side of this thing, it looks fantastic. You've got volume, you've got markets rallying, you've got momentum. Then all of a sudden, it turns. Now, this is what can happen. So it looks like a good new high. It looks like we're off. All of a sudden, this happens. So what do? We need to look at where our stop is, because this may not come off. This may be a situation we just have to get out of this and move on, despite what it did look like up here. So we just have to make sure we're alert to change, we respond to it properly. At this stage, it's still holding above the stop this week, so I'll have to wait and see whether it does break it or not. But for the moment, we are being challenged. The momentum is slow, so something probably has happened up here. which has caused these sellers to look there. But we need to just respect this. If we get out, we move on to another new high. Okay, there's plenty of them happening, plenty of weekly highs going on everywhere. So just be aware that these things happen, and you just have to manage these out. That's how it works. If you are successful in managing these trades out, if this does break down, that's what you've got to do, minimise those losses, because when we do know when the new highs come along, we get some good breaks up. So we want to be on the big ones and not on the ones that start falling down. So this has certainly changed here, and we've got to respect that. Okay, so that's NHF Holdings, or NIB Holdings, code NHF. Okay, so the next one I want to look at is on this insurance sector again. This one, insurance sector has been quite strong. QBE, Steadfast has come back a little bit too. But this again here, you've got this beautiful volume here pushing this stock up. Okay, good momentum above the average, good break here on Insurance Australia. 10 intensity rating is 8. It's now come back a little bit. We've been well supported this week despite it being a negative week. So that's a good sign. But again, as I said before, with REA, NHF, all stocks do it. They go up and they come down. We need to be able to assess these moves when they come back against us to make sure we are still in if it's going to continue up. And if it's likely to break down, we want to be out. And that's what our stock will tell us. Okay, so that's the important thing. Again, here we have weekly highs, which is always a signal for us there. Okay, on good volume. So that's Insurance Australia, looking pretty fantastic at the moment, because it had a very, very bad time for quite a few years. Okay, and then of course we've got Cochlear, which I showed you. I didn't show you. That was car sales, I think. Cochlear has broken up out of that range in no uncertain terms on some great volume, and we can see here the range we've been in for years. Since 2019, and we've got sort of a high-low here, a high-low here. I guess that's encouraging, but ultimately the test is to break this here, which it's now done. It's now done a weekly all-time high. So we get weekly highs and we can get weekly all-time highs, and I guess an all-time high probably gives you a little bit more, it's probably a little bit more high probability because it is actually an all-time high, and that's a psychological difference. And there's probably slightly more weight on an all-time weekly high than just a weekly high, but still, we take those trades as they come. But that's Cochlear, and that's looking pretty good at the moment, and we'll have to wait and see how it works out. Hard on my sleeve. Okay, so that is Cochlear. The other one I wanted to go through briefly, which I've touched on briefly, is Hello World, which again is in that tourism sector. All those sectors we like, builders, communications, insurance, travel, they're all sort of got the rocket stocks in there, which are going quite well. And this one here looks very, very interesting because it is had a beautiful trading range through here. It's now rallied here strongly. It's broken this downturn in the average, and we've got some good volume here. Momentum's turned positive. Now all we need to do is wait for the significance of this level here to go, which is up around $3, and it's trying at the moment, okay, giving it a bit of a whirl. So just keep an eye on Hello World. It's looking pretty good for further rallies if it breaks through that $3 level. Okay, so that is the stocks I wanted to show today. There's quite a bit in there. There's an awful lot more on Stockradar. If you want to know where all the stops are on all these stocks, Goodman Group and things like that, you need to go to Stockradar, where they're all listed with entries, exits, alerts, date of entry, all that sort of stuff there is ready for you to soak up. Okay, so that is Hello World now. Briefly, I just want to talk to you a little bit about weekly highs this week. Really what I do in the end is with my trend reversals and my new highs is I am always trading weekly highs. The only difference between a trend reversal and a new high is a trend reversal is reversing from a downtrend to an uptrend, but it's still a weekly high, and a new high is simply a weekly new high. Once a weekly new high is hit, I always buy it because there's always a potential for a trend move. So amongst my group of stocks, I'm always going to be exposed to the potential of an upward move. And that's important because I'm a trend trader and momentum trader, and I have to be. I can't pick and choose. I must, from a defined group of stocks. I mean, I cover 160 because I'm a commercial enterprise. You need to cover a lot less than that because you can't take all the trades and have a finite sized portfolio. But weekly highs is what I do effectively, and that's the main thing. You can get all-time weekly highs or just simply weekly highs. So what we do is we play the KISS game. Keep it simple, stupid. Weekly highs. They're simple, they are straightforward, and they are reliable. And I've talked a little bit about today about NHF, how you need to protect. If it goes wrong, you need to protect because we need to keep our losses always small and run those profits, okay? So that's the important part about what we do. The new weekly high is there for you to do. It's there for you to deal with the way you think, and we all deal with them differently, have different levels and different time frames. So that's why some work and some don't, but if you have a systematic process, you will be very successful. So Let's look at a few stocks of this. Boral, the incumbent, it's made weekly highs since down around $3. This was a trend reversal, reversing the downtrend. Then it's made another new high up here, confirming the trend. Then it's made another new high up here, confirming the trend, and up it goes and up it goes. So this is a stock that's making a lot of money for us, and these are the ones that we need to get onto, okay? Now, just also in this situation here, if I look at Boral, it's been a beautiful trend, but just for example, just say I did get stopped out here. The Stockradar strategy is to always be on an uptrend, okay? So if I got stopped out here, let's just say I got stopped out here at $3.50, and then the market made a new high. Now, in this situation, I'm actually already in it, but if I was stopped out, I would then rebuy and re-get onto the stock, okay? So that's how the strategy works. That's how I ensure that I'm always exposed to potential uptrend, okay? Like Borals, okay? So this is what can happen. This is what is happening now. Cochlear, the breakout. So we can find out this is a weekly high. It's actually an all-time weekly high, which probably gets even more credence because it's so important, an all-time high. But it is broken out, and now we've got to trade it. It may work, it may not work, it may be profitable, it may not. But the chances are, and the odds are, it will be if we trade it properly, okay? So with Cochlear, we've got a beautiful upward move. We've got some good volume here. Momentum's kicking up. Trend intensity rating is 10. So it's a no-brainer as to what to do with it. Implement your trading strategy from this point. Okay, prospects. Next DC, well, it's moving towards its new high, up around $14, okay? It's had a lot of trouble back there in 2021. It retreated quite a lot, nearly cut its share price in half, as they do, these stocks, and now it's kicking up higher again, and I'm waiting. Although we've got almost could have had a trend reversal down here, I'm very concerned about all this level here until it breaks. I'm not happy. So this is the challenge ahead here, this all-time weekly high for XDC. So I'm just going to sit here and wait and see what happens there. It will confirm because I know I've got some volume. Momentum is also strong. So this rally is quite a strong rally. And what I'm looking for is for it to give me a signal it's going to extend it to make a new high. So that's sort of how I look at the weekly highs. These are all weekly highs which I'm trading at, not daily, not hourly, but weekly trades. And this is how I implement these trades. So next DC is a good prospect. So that's the trading tactics for you this week, basically. Just want to give you an idea. Really what I'm doing is a simplicity of weekly highs. Okay, I do have setups there. I have trend intensity ratings to help us, but that's really what I'm doing. I'm looking at weekly highs, and that's what's happening there. Okay, now, what's happening at Stockradar? Newsletter's out next week, 7 days. We trade trend and momentum as our strategy in our micro communication sector, a new communication sector I'm going to make, combining my internet with my telecom sector. Okay, I'll do that over the next week or so, and I'm going to cover that sector in my newsletter next week. The rant that I'm going to do, Radar's rant next week, will be on trading momentum on high PE stocks, whether it be a WiseTech or a Prometheus, whatever. How can we trade these high PE stocks successfully and on a momentum base, because they do offer great momentum trades, okay? And I mentioned before in the newsletter, I also offer up tables of some new strategies and some different strategies for you. So I look at weekly highs. There are different types of common strategies that are quite simple and easy to implement. And some of the ones I look at, I certainly give a table on a new high schedule, stocks moving to new highs. I have an opportunities table, which is looking at stocks that have been downtrodden, that have been corrected 30 to 50%, have come back to support, and are probably looking at more at a longer-term super fund application, because we're looking to buy the weakness on longer-term stocks that have been corrected. And a lot of stocks, whether it be James Hardie, whatever, have all done 50% corrections over last year and have provided great opportunities, and we can see the rally in James Hardie recently. So there's quite a lot of stocks, could be zero. There's quite a lot on that opportunities table for you. There's a demerger new listing strategy. I find there's a very common pattern between demergers and listings when they first come on board. So that's something to watch out for. And I also just give you a table of stocks hitting new highs and new lows, just so you can get an idea of where the balance is on the market at the moment. So hopefully there's lots of information there for you. Stockradar's got plenty of stuff in there for you. We monitor all your stocks for you, all your stops, all your entries and exits alerts. That's what we try and do. And we try and make sure we follow the price, because the price never lies. It tells the truth all the time. And we've got to get used to that idea that the price is always right. Okay, so it is the simplest of strategies that will work you best. And weekly highs is a very, very simple strategy. You just need to have build a trading strategy around it, trading plan around it. Realistically, we can spend a lot of time and effort perfecting a trading system, but often it is the simplest that work the best, provided you implement it the right way. So we can all look at the same chart, and some can be profitable, some can take losses for lots of reasons, and it's how we implement the strategy and how we control ourselves. All those sort of things that I talk about every week go into that strategy. But it is a simple thing we build around a weekly high. Okay, so that's all I've got for you today. Stay safe, watch your trends, heed your stops, and give me a call if you need to have a chat. And good luck for the week, and I can't wait for next week to see what the market's going to bring us. It's always a challenge. It's always a great thing to get up every morning and look at the markets, and the challenge that it brings to me and to you is always a fascinating thing. So good luck for this week, and I'll see you all again next week. Okay, thanks.